Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Wow, we sound like we just woke up. We kind of did. And I had this idea a long time ago whenever I first started The Artist Way, and I never did it. And I got about halfway through this book. Let's see, I stopped at page 93. And I did most of the book. Like, I didn't do morning pages. I already kind of journal, so I didn't feel like morning pages were something that I needed to do. I did some of the exercises. And I do think that even though I did some of these things, the book helped me out tremendously so far. So, what I have done since reading page up to page 93, which was well, I couldn't even tell you when's the last time I picked up this book. Probably not quite a year ago, but probably getting close to a year. I I wonder if I have the date actually. This is the journal that I was using for it. And I would kind of write down dates. Okay. So actually maybe not even no, because I also just use this to draw now. JK. Let's see if I have a date on there. September 11th. Okay. So one of these dates I have is September 11th. So we're just going to assume that sometime in September, October, I stopped reading the book. So actually not even near a year yet, but it's been quite some time. Since I stopped reading this book, I have read other books that have also had similar insights that I've been able to use, like for example The Power of Now. I've been reading Simple Abundance, and she actually references the artist way in it. Also, still getting used to the lighting, still getting used to all this stuff, so be mindful of all of this. We'll just see how I gradually progress throughout these episodes. So I see it all the time. The artist way will pop up on my For You page, and it's just like I keep getting all these signs to just restart it. And so today is the day that I restart it. And it's kind of crazy because on my, I guess, like bucket list thing for the year, I have a lot of really big creative goals, and I think that coming back to this book will truly help me accomplish them. Also, going back to what I have accomplished since reading these 96 pages. I started posting consistently onto TikTok not long after starting this book. I posted, I think, every day for near 2 to 3 months. I started posting again vlogs onto my YouTube channel. That one didn't have really any bit of consistency. I think the biggest thing was just like getting over things being perfect because I would look at my skin and I'm like, oh, I have acne. Oh, this piece of hair is in my face. I would just get so hard on myself and be so hypercritical. I am a rising Virgo, just saying. And so I would just be very, very hypercritical of what I was doing, of what I was posting and all that stuff. And so I've slowly started letting go of all of that. For example, I just posted pictures from my 20th birthday. There's pictures with like hairs on my back, of like little rolls on my back as well. And, whenever I first saw them, I'm like, oh, I don't want to post them. They look so bad, whatever. And then after like looking at them again, I was like, they're really not bad. And I'm a human. I have skin, like so what if you see rolls on my tummy? It's a tummy. Everybody has them. And so like I've been able to reframe a lot of things in my head, but just know that well, and I look at other people's pictures too, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they look so pretty. And, I'm not even noticing that about them. I really love their personality. And so I've just been like slowly starting to be kinder to myself because I'm not mean to other people, so then why am I mean to myself? Anywho, back to the things that I've accomplished since this. I also started a podcast. It's called Whatever the Fuck I Want, WTFIW podcast. You can find it on all platforms, wherever you listen to your podcast. And on that podcast, I post twice a week, and I think that that's been like really the kicker of all of this. I've also been drawing more. I was posting on my creates page almost every day for I believe it was about a month and a half. That's at YOFABGAB.creates. That's where I post my drawings. And so I've been kind of just like getting over this idea of like things needing to be perfect. Like, for example, I drew a picture of a popcorn with like the jiggly butt, and I'm like, it kind of looks phallic. And it's dumb, like pop, lock, and drop it. It's popcorn. It's just silly. I'll post a picture of it here. And, funny enough, it's with these drawings that I'm like, I don't know if I like it. I don't know how I feel about it. I get a lot of positive feedback. Like friends will respond, laughing emojis, or, people seem to like it, or, it inspires somebody in some way or makes them laugh. So, like, at the end of the day, what this book teaches you is like to detach yourself from your art. And I think that that's something that, like, I've struggled with, especially when it comes to like things that I crochet, things that I paint. It's hard for me to give things away that I've made because it's like it feels like it's yours. It feels like it's yours. I made this with my bare hands. I don't want to share it with anybody else because I put my blood and sweat and tears into it. And I've slowly gotten over it. And, obviously we still have some ways to go. But yeah, so keep following along, subscribe if you want to keep seeing more of me or just more of my journey on the artist way. So we're just going to go ahead and get to it. Yesterday, I read basically all of the intro pages to The Artist Way, and today we'll be reading week 1. And as of yesterday, any creative things I did was I crocheted. My boo got me a crochet kit, and one of the things is a watermelon, which the pattern kind of confusing. I stopped counting stitches, and so I'm kind of like winging it at the end. So this is the slice of watermelon that I have so far. I am not sure if I'll finish that today, but I need to kind of be the type of person that finishes crochet projects. I have a whole bin of unfinished ones at my parents' house. And yeah, I'm just gonna get started on my morning pages. This will be the first day that I do them. And the book says to like get a journal for it, and I have like sketchbooks, but I don't feel like that's ideal for me to be writing in. So I will be using my French journal, which I only really used once. I've been learning French on Duolingo. I might be at a year streak already. So this will be my morning journal notebook. I do tend to write a lot. I had a crazy dream. I've been having crazy dreams lately. I did wake up with a song in my head. I usually wake up with songs in my head, and there'll be songs that I already know. Like I went back to sleep, and then the song Vitamina by Danny Ocean was in my head. But whenever I first woke up, I had a song that doesn't exist in my head, and it had a beat. And that's why I feel like music is an outlet that I need to be exploring more. And the first time around, whenever I did do this book, it was surprisingly, I found out that it was dance that I wanted to be doing more of. And I do love dancing. I really, really do love dancing. It is something that I do wish I was doing more of. And so I've been like just doing a lot of somatic dancing lately, like moving your hips and just like rotating your body. And like I used to dance in the shower. Like that's how much I love dancing. Now I'm like, okay, we got to get back to what we want. And a big part of it, I think, is dancing, writing, playing instruments. That's truthfully what I always wanted to be, was a singer-songwriter. And a big part of it is because of Taylor Swift. Like, she was the reason why I wanted a guitar. I just loved her storytelling. I wish I could find the first journal I ever had where I wrote songs. Bless you, Miko. He's been sneezing. Bless you. Bless you. He also has had a tummy ache lately, so I made him food. We're trying to get him on a bland diet. He's not taken to it very well, but I haven't checked his bowls this morning to see if he's wanted it. But man, I'm aware I had to puree his shit. Like, he's living a good life. So yeah, I guess it's kind of gonna be interesting to see where this takes me, because I tend to write poetry whenever I am sad or whenever I do have like a random hit of inspiration. If you do want to see my poetry, check out at YOFABGAB on my TikTok. Last year, whenever I was doing this book, I was writing a lot of poetry, and I think that's where that had taken me. And I was drawing a lot, and I just get so stuck in my head. I'm like, this is bad. This is terrible. Like, look at this bunny I drew. A lot of them are like they're just colored pencil. They're not watercolor, but they kind of feel like watercolor. But then some of them are so bad. You look at them and you're like, what the fuck? This is ugly. But I mean, that's what the point of the book is just like to practice and like to not judge yourself. But then I have some that are like, it's so cute. It's a little seahorse, and you know, wow, some things are sad. Let me get started on my morning pages. Maybe I'm procrastinating on them. I'm not even done with page 1 and my hand hurts. Oh, my wrist was hurting yesterday from crocheting. That's why I had to like take a break from it. This is Moolah. I don't think y'all have met her yet. She was one in a claw machine, and she is the cutie pie. It is really hard to see anything right now. I'm just trying to mess with the shutter speed, the aperture, like trying to get the hang of it. Anywho, I'm ready for bed. Brush my teeth, retainers in, everything. All the nines. I like to get ready for bed as early as I can throughout the day. That way I can just fully relax. I feel like I can't like sit in bed knowing that I have to get up and shower, or that I need to like cook dinner, or, like if I have like a pending to-do list. And I wrote a poem today. That was really nice. I do think the morning pages are going to be revolutionary for me. As somebody who is a writer, she does say in the book that like writers are the ones who don't want to do it the most, and I do feel that way because I didn't really do them at all the first time round. I did do the assignments, but I don't think I actually sat and did any morning pages at all. I did journal. I'm not sure if... Okay, so I didn't do morning pages, but I did write like a paragraph. It's a monster I drew because one of the assignments is to do that. It says, you fucking suck, your artist trash, and you could never be an artist full-time. Artist don't make money. You want to be a starving artist. If you want to be a starving artist, go for it. But just know that I told you so. Don't come crawling back since you have no career. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. You're nothing. You're a waste. You're a disappointment. A starving artist. Poor, lonely, sad. You'll never amount to anything. Trash is all it is. Trash. You suck. Trash. And that's my monster. Woo! And then this is like my Hall of Fame. So it's where you give trophies to people. So this is all stuff that I did previously. So now I'm excited to see like what happens. I did do like weekly check-ins. I did do some writing, some of the assignments, but I did not, you know, follow the book thoroughly. And I think the morning pages will really help with that. Hey, I'm gonna light some Palo Santo. I mentioned that this is a part of my like daily routine. Just helps with the vibe. Cleanse the space. And every time I light it, I think of Em and Pyro, which are two of my friends from Twitch, because they're pyromaniacs. I didn't just say that. But this is to cleanse all of you, yeah, Nancy's. Oh my gosh, it looks like I'm in Disney Channel. This is what I've always wanted to do. Hi, my name is Gabby, and you're watching Disney Channel. Ding! Damn, this is already hitting. One of our chief needs as creative beings is support. Unfortunately, this can be hard to come by. Ideally, we would be nurtured and encouraged first by our nuclear family, and then by ever-widening circles of friends, teachers, well-wishers. That's something that it says in my birth chart, but it's just so true. I feel like as artists, we seek a lot of validation, although we need to understand that that's not the reason for doing anything. There should be, I guess, like some other motive, whether it be like if you're going through a breakup and like channeling that energy, if you're falling in love, you know, like it's should be for only the reason of like allowing those emotions to like pass through you as art. I don't even know what I started off saying to begin with. But okay, but we seek validation from other people, and I don't know why. It should just be that it's just we're the vessel for the art. The term artist is so broad, and I like that she talks about how anybody can be an artist. It's just about nurturing that part of you, because creativity is like a muscle. You need to use it, and the more you use it, it'll grow.
but if you don't use it at all, it's just very weak. Same thing with like your connection to God. Like the more that you pray, the more that you meditate, the more that you ask for guidance, the more you will receive. And if you don't acknowledge God, you don't open up your eyes and ears to God, the muscle, that connection is just so weak. It's not that it's not there. That muscle is there. It's just not as strong. Like an internet connection, like your cell phone service, it's the same thing. It's like the connection is there, just it might not be strong. I have had the urge to break up my ukulele all day. I have never taken music lessons. I tried in college to teach myself. I got very frustrated. I kind of learned a little bit of notes. We're going to tune it. We're going to start off with tuning it. I get really paranoid to break my guitar string or like just the strings because I asked for a guitar one year for Christmas when I was a kid and I didn't know how to tune it. I didn't know anything. I didn't have any lessons. I didn't have YouTube. Like at this point, like social media was really non-existent. So I did not know how to do anything and nobody in my family knew how to play an instrument. So I had like tightened it up so hard that like this part of the guitar just like this part of the guitar just like broke off and I just stuffed it in my closet. Tragic, right? I did also learn that Ed Sheeran, it was like an interview with Benny Blanco, he apparently films things in the studio once and that's it. And I thought that that was really cool. So I maybe got a couple pages into reading and now I'm going to watch a guitar video. And he used to blame it all on the videos. I'm like, I saw a ukulele video. I'm like, no, it has to do with that. Like, it's just a song I'm trying to learn. Bad, okay. Oh, that goes fast, okay. Maybe I'll get... No, wait. Oh. And then by the time you know, I'll be singing Kumbaya, which is on my bucket list. I'll be singing y'all Kumbaya. I'm excited for that. I'll check back in tomorrow.
Good morning, friends. Ooh, I basically woke up just now. Ooh. It's 7:52 in the morning. I had trouble falling asleep last night. I probably didn't go to bed till like midnight. And I don't like going to bed that late. I did play the ukulele a lot and my man was like, "You sound really good. I think you're getting the hang of it." And I was like, "Yay." I haven't grabbed my phone yet today. I'm just going to get started on these morning pages and then get started with my day. It is shoulder day at the gym. So I will probably, after I finish my morning pages, get ready to go to the gym. I would have gotten ready now, but I just was not in the mood. So this is me as I am. I normally listen to meditation sounds in the morning, but due to copyright issues, I won't be for the sake of these vlogs. But just know if it were up to me, we'd be listening to 428, 532 hertz of pure tranquility. I had a dream that
I had like multiple dreams. One of them was like about me being in Gainesville and like my parents dropping me off. And like I didn't have almost like a penny to my name. Like it was me going back to that area and then like seeing how much it's evolved. And my parents were just like dropping me off there. Specifically, my mom was dropping me off. And then I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? Like, I didn't apply for school. I didn't get an apartment. I didn't do anything. But my mom's like dropping me off, you know, they're like, good luck. And I'm like, what? Good luck for what? Like, is anybody going to tell me what I'm doing here? And then I had a dream that I was like taking classes or something, like art classes. But I was just so tired from the move that, like, whenever I got into my vehicle, like, as soon as I closed my eyes, which I was having trouble, like, starting the car, as soon as I closed my eyes, they, like, completely shut entirely. And, like, I couldn't see. And I was, like, trying to, like, get my eyes to open because I'm like, I can't drive. And, like, if I can't see, if my eyes are shut. And then I guess, like, one way or another, I end up seeing my professor, teacher, and I feel like it was Ice Cube. I really think it was Ice Cube in my dream. He's like, you gotta come to class on the weekends now because you're late. And you need to be practicing every day. Every day. And since you're late, since you missed class time, you have to be coming in on the weekends now. I don't know. It was so random. But that was my dream. So we're back to reading, and I feel like what I've learned is that your brain wants to keep you safe. And when your brain has never experienced something, it associates it with something terrible. So, like, no, there's no point in even trying to write a poem because people are probably going to hate it. No, there's no point in even trying a pottery class because you're probably going to be bad at it and you don't know what you're doing and you're going to be terrible at it. So, like, your brain tries to keep you safe because it only knows the experiences that you've ever had and, like, what those outcomes were. So say that you did once take a pottery class and maybe your teacher was just not the best. Maybe you just had an off day, you know, and maybe, like, the clay just, like, went everywhere, right? And, like, that is your one and only experience with pottery. So you have a fear now of going to a pottery class because you're afraid that that situation is going to happen again. So your brain's just like, don't do it because we've already been there and it was embarrassing. So yeah, like your brain, and I mean, I'm sure that a lot of us know this, it just tries to keep you safe. And so it associates things with like other memories to like keep you from potentially feeling them again. It says right now that spelling fear is a remarkably common block. I know quite a bit of people who are creatives. Somebody that I met recently in New York, they're a housewife, and they basically, you know, I was like, oh, well, what do you like to do? And they're like, oh, you know, like I'm kind of writing a book, and I like to do stand up. And they're like, I was like, oh, like, have you thought about writing this or writing that? And they're like, yeah, I'm just not a good speller. So Julia brings up a very valid point. Spelling should be the last thing that you're worried about because, one, whenever you're doing stand up, nobody's looking at your jokes, right? I'm not sitting there and I'm like correcting your spelling or your grammar. But also, we have so many softwares that exist to help correct any misspellings or any grammar mistakes. So, like, it's such an irrational fear to, like, not be creating because specifically, like, you are afraid of having misspelled words. All too often, it is the audacity, not the talent, that moves an artist to center stage. That is very, very true. It's the fact that somebody's willing to put themselves out there. First of all, there's an audience for everybody. Secondly, why am I putting this attention towards hating on somebody whenever it's probably the fact that I'm just jealous that they, despite their talents, put themselves out there and are finding success because people out there want to listen to them. There's room for everybody. And I convinced myself for a very long time that there wasn't. I could do that better if only. You could do that better if only you would let yourself do it. Because how often are you like, oh, I could have written that song better. Oh, I could have made that beat better. Oh, that painting is trash. Like, one thing that I've started doing is, like, on my FYP, I do see a lot of artists, I do see a lot of artists, a lot of like baking, cooking, a lot of positive affirmations and stuff. One thing that I've started doing is, like, say that somebody does like a reveal art painting. I used to back then be like, that fucking sucks, or like, ew, that's ugly, or you know what I mean, like immediately jump to like a negative emotion about it and like kind of like project. And I mean, obviously art is like subjective. Like, I could think something is like absolutely beautiful, and to somebody else they're like, that's just an abstract painting, I don't understand it. But what I've started saying, even like a girl's outfit, people would like show their outfits of the day or whatever, and instead of being like, oh, that's ugly, or I don't like that, I've started reframing it as, that's just not my style.
Hello, friends. So I'm about to go into the dollar store to get something for my artist date, which your artist date happens once a week. I assume at the very least. And I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and I have a whole bunch of Pokemon cards that I need to organize. And I think it would be fun to either collage them into a binder and organize them, or I was even thinking about trying to get picture frames and trying to organize them like that, and then I can hang them up on the wall. Because the reason why I really like some of the Pokemon cards is because they inspire me. Like, seeing all the different artwork, seeing all the pretty colors, like just the creativity that goes behind the individual designs, I love and I'm inspired by. So I think that that would be a cool date, if you will. I am going to suck it up and take y'all in there. I wasn't going to, or I was just gonna like film on my phone, but I'll take y'all in there with me just so that I can, like, I guess, start getting over this fear of recording myself. Okay, I found picture frames. I think I'm gonna go with these because the bedroom is like has gold accents. I was gonna do white originally. I'll show you the white. So they have like these white ones. Okay, I'm not setting up a tripod, but I got the frames, and then I got 2 bags of hot fries. I've been, like, this cut makes me feel like tired and fatigued, and I either just gotta really start tracking my foods. But I don't really eat chips like that anymore. I used to be the type of person that like couldn't have a bag of chips in the house because I would just eat it all. Got me a set of turtles because yum. And then some chicle because my man always wants chicle and I never keep any on me. I used to be the type of person who always had chicle on here, but I've been kind of slacking. So yeah, that's what I got. And then I'm going to go get Miko his food because of his tummy ache. So we're going to switch him back to his old food, and then I'm gonna check back in at the house. I'll probably eat some leftover chili that I had made. It's like in the 50s, so like me wearing my little gym shorts, like it's a little chilly. But yeah, I'll probably check back in once I'm ready to start collaging. I'm excited about that. Alrighty, friends, we are in the guest bedroom. So this is my date. I'm watching Abbott. You don't watch Abbott, you need to watch it. I got my protein shake here. It's just like a berry blend, vanilla almond milk, and vanilla protein, and some flax seeds. I have no idea how I'm going to organize these. Some of these might have doubles, but we're just going to go with the flow. When I was leaving the house today, they're doing like construction outside. I don't know why this plastic is so hard to rip. Dude, I ran over a traffic cone. I did not see it. And to be fair, I had to take it like out from underneath the car because I was like dragging it. I didn't drive not even like a minute with it in. But like, I think what happened was one of the big round ones was blocking the little triangular ones because I was trying to turn. And so I think whenever I turned, I accidentally, I took one. And that's okay. We live and we learn. Look. And I'm just gonna like do a pattern with the colors. My little collage. I am up early because I need to try to squeeze in a workout because I have a very busy day. So, time to do our morning pages. Yesterday I didn't end up playing ukulele. I didn't crochet. I did draw a little bit on my iPad. I kind of have like somewhat of a drawing to post on my creates page for today. I'll probably finish it up in a couple hours. I did end up going to the gym yesterday, but it was not whenever I expected for it to. I did have in the back of my mind, like, oh, maybe I'll go to a different gym and I'll go with, you know, a friend and all this stuff. And in the morning, I actually had the calling to edit a video for the podcast. And so that's one thing that somebody that I follow, Alexi Gigi, I'll link her stuff. In one of her videos, she mentions always following your gut or your instincts. So I already was like, oh, I don't feel like I have enough time, you know, kind of in my head, a little anxious. And sure enough, I ended up being able to go to the gym, and it just like, I ended up going with that friend, and it was just like something that was like in the back of my head that was like a possibility, but I'm like, no, it probably won't happen. And I was able to edit the clip, and so that's just a reminder that everything just like unfolds as it's supposed to. So there's no reason to stress or force things, you know. I felt like I was going to be forced to have to, you know, like have a 20-minute workout and, you know, like all the driving and, you know, just felt like I felt very pressured to work out in the morning, and I still ended up getting a workout yesterday. So with that being said, I'm going to do my morning pages. Hi friends, it is day 6 of working on the artist way. We've mostly been doing morning pages, and today that's what I will be doing right now, and then I will be working on some assignments in between, also editing stuff for the podcast because I need to edit tomorrow's episode, and then also the house needs a deep cleaning, so I also plan to clean the house. So big day today, a lot of things to do, and I am kind of getting hungry. I did most of my brain games. I posted onto Instagram. I am getting over this idea of like keeping pictures in my camera roll if they're not, you know, when you stare at something a little bit too long and you're like, I kind of hate it now. Well, that happens to me a lot, and that's something that I'm trying to get over. And so that's why I was like, you know, these pictures are not something that I'm like entirely in love with, at least right now at this point, because I loved them whenever they were first taken. But then you look at it too long and then you start to hate it. And so I was like, you know what, let me just edit them and post them. So I did. For those who don't know, you know, I've had acne, you know, most of my life, and I've had a few points in my life where it was completely gone. Bless you. What I used to do on social media, and this is the only part of my body that I would ever edit, it was my skin. And I would just basically use the remove tool or whatever, and I would like just grab the clear parts of my skin and patch up my acne. And obviously we know that modeling agencies, magazines, all these things, they still do that. Back in the day, it used to be like a very smooth, maybe it's the smooth tool. It's been so long since I've used it that I don't even remember what it's called. Patching. Maybe it's what it's called. It's called patching. And so I used to patch my skin, and now a lot of companies don't believe everything you see. You might see some people's freckles, you might see some wrinkles, but they still edit some stuff out. They just keep certain parts in so that it can feel a little bit more real. So don't entirely believe every advertisement you see. There's a lot of people, even that I know, who would edit their bodies. Not something that I would ever do. I would never edit my nose, never edit any other part of my body other than my acne, but that's just me being completely transparent with y'all. I don't know when's the last time I've done it. It's probably been years, but it is something that I would be insecure about. And that would be the one thing that I'm like, this is what I want to have some control over. But again, I did have a period of my life where my skin was completely clear. Just wanting to be honest with y'all. So, the pictures I have been posting the past couple years are not, edited. Maybe I'm wearing foundation. But I've just been trying to embrace myself as I am, because I'm not perfect. I am human. And that's a big reason why I didn't post YouTube videos for so long, was just because I was just so insecure about my skin. And same thing with like posting myself on a TikTok. So last year, whenever I was really depressed and I had really high cortisol levels, very high anxiety, my acne was rough. It was rough. And, obviously, it's like a huge spectrum. There's people who have like get a pimple here and there and like, oh my God, I'm breaking out. But, I'm somebody who, I wouldn't say I had like severe acne, but I would definitely say it was more than mild. You know what I mean? It's not like a pimple here or there. And it's not just like a random hormonal thing. It was like, no, I would have, even now, let's look at my skin. I just woke up. I haven't washed my face or anything. But look, you see my scars and stuff. And like, I used to allow that to stop me from posting and to doing things. Or if I did, I would edit my skin. And yeah, no more to that, because that's a big part of what held me back. I just wouldn't put myself out there because I'm like, what if people judge me? What if people think this, X, Y, Z? But now I've realized that I can serve as like representation for somebody. Because as much as obviously we need more Hispanics, more people of color represented in the media, we also need people who have disabilities, people who have acne, people who have different color hair, people who have different piercings. Like representation matters in any capacity. And I do feel like I can serve as somebody who, like, this is what I am. This is what I look like. And, if you're going to judge me about that, like, I don't know. I don't know what that says about you, but it's just me being human. Same thing with like stretch marks and different body types. Like, that's so important for people to feel seen and work, on cameras, on TV and movies and songs. And that's, I guess, let me start my morning pages because it was a little bit of a rant, but hopefully it resonated with somebody. Yesterday, I thought I would be able to work on some of this. I was not able to. I ended up deep cleaning the house. And whenever I say deep cleaning, I mean like move the couches. I was like scrubbing the rugs, like got a lot of pet hair out. Whenever you have a dog and a cat and 2 Mexicans living in the house, it's a lot of hair. Ended up just deep cleaning the house. I made flautas for dinner, and some rice, and watched Love on the Spectrum, and worked on the episode that was released today for the Whatever the Fuck I Want podcast. And tell me how, as soon as I'm like looking at it this morning, within the first like minute of even like 30, 50 seconds, 15 seconds of the podcast, I see a typo. Grr, it says about instead of about. And AI, I'm sure, had some that I was correcting, and then I probably accidentally left that. And the first thing that my brain wanted to do was just like delete it all, repost. I had already had several views on both Spotify and YouTube, and I don't really look at the data for Apple Podcast or like any of the other people use like Castbox and stuff like the other platforms. So I was like, you know what, Gabby, you just leave it, because at the end of the day, it's okay to have typos. I watch YouTubers and content creators that misspell things all the time, that have typos, that do all that. And it's just something that makes you human. Obviously, it's something that frustrates me because I have a degree in telecommunications, which I took a lot of writing classes. It's essentially like a lot of journalism classes, all that stuff. So it is a little frustrating, but it's just a part of being human. So I can't be mad at myself for being human or for the computer having flaws too, because even some of these softwares have flaws, and the AI captions like won't get everything correct. I had every intention of going out and walking for as long as I could. I stepped my feet out of the car and freezing. I'm not layered for this. I'm literally wearing one layer underneath this, and it's not even long things. It's like a tank top. So that's not going to keep me warm. Another thing, I was going to film the podcast episode. I'm like, oh, I'm in here. I could just film the podcast episode. This is the transmitter, and I don't know where the microphone is. But it was literally attached to the camera. And, I told myself earlier to, like, remove it and put it into the casing. But I did not, and I checked my backpack for it. I've been checking repeatedly, cannot find it. I tried, okay? We can't sit here and say I didn't try. I did try. I am going to start on my assignments, but, of course I can't start a journal on an empty slate. So I've just been doodling on it. And it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's made me realize that the things that you procrastinate the most on are the things that you should do first, which makes sense as to why people, when they make lists, they say to complete the toughest ones or most time-consuming ones first, and you slowly make your way down through the list. And this just feels good. It feels really good to be coloring and doing things with my hands and picking up colors, and I'm like, I want to do this and I want to do that, and let's see what this looks like. And I've over time learned not to be so hypercritical of my work and my flow, but I used to be. And I think that my first time around doing this book is what really helped me open up that perspective, is that perfection is not real, and you just have to make things because you want to, and you pick a color because you like it, or because you want to see what it looks like on this texture. And I used to go to Pinterest, and I do this with my creates page often. I look to other people's art for inspiration, or I'll try to recreate a drawing but somehow make it my own. And it is nice to look at things for reference, because it's hard to picture what a koala bear looks like at the top of my head, or like a rhinoceros, or something that I haven't really drawn much like a lion. But it's also a great exercise to just not look at anything and just to see what your brain comes up with. And I'm excited to show you all what I end up creating. It's just been fun so far, and I do love setting the vibe. So the incense smells wonderful. I opened up a window. My high vibrational frequency sounds are playing, and I feel calm. I feel peaceful. I honestly kind of emotional. I feel kind of emotional because this is something I should be doing every day, and not something that should be reserved for special occasions. And there was a point in time where I was doing it every day, and that was a crazy voice crack. But I don't know why I stopped. I even started a new journal for for this time round. But I mean, I was sketching often. I would go to the park and I would sketch and I would draw. And I mean, a lot of them I'm not like, oh, I love, but some of them are so cute. Got a little bear there, and it's like, I don't know, I just get in my head. And a lot of it's free-handed, and so it's like things don't look perfect, but what even is perfect anyways? So I just did one of the monsters. You're supposed to do 3, and I decided to look back at my one that I did last year, and it's kind of crazy that a lot of my monsters are the same people. I don't have many people in my family who are quote unquote artists. As far as I'm aware, I only have one cousin who can play the accordion. I don't know of any other cousins who know how to play an instrument. I know that my brother's tried the keyboard. I have a cousin who's tried the keyboard as well. As far as I'm aware, the people who are creative do it as a hobby, and no one's ever pursued it as a career. And so it's just hard because a lot of the blockages that I have, a lot of the monsters that I have are from family telling me, you got to pick one thing, Gabby. I was told that so much growing up. Pick one thing, Gabby. Pick one thing. Stick to it, Gabby. One thing. You're all over the place. You can't be all over the place, Gabby. You got to stick to one thing and finish it. One thing, Gabby. And, I was told, like, you can't do everything, Gabby. You can't do it all. Got to pick one. And so I've convinced myself that I have to stick to one thing, but I know that I don't have to. And that's not how my brain works. My brain doesn't work with like, I'm just going to sit here and finish one thing. Like, as a creative person, I've mentioned this before, like, you're always creating. If I'm not coloring or drawing, I'm writing or I'm editing or I'm coming up with ideas. Like, my brain is always on creative mode. It's always creating. And so it's just hard whenever, the outlet might change. Maybe I'm reading, right? Maybe I'm not necessarily creating, but I'm enjoying something that is creative, reading, watching a show or something. Those things do inspire me to create. And like, I just have creative energy in me that just flows to whatever outlet it wants to flow to. So, I mean, to other people, it might be like some different way of thinking, and maybe it is, but it's just how my brain works. Like, I gotta be doing something at any capacity. It's just crazy that my monsters, although they look nothing alike and they look really ugly, but it's kind of the point, is like, just, ugh, like, what monster's cute? They're all fucking ugly. And like, it just makes me think about how my perception of an artist is somebody who is, you're either right, like, there's two ends of the spectrum. You're either struggling and you're a quote unquote starving artist, or you're somebody who's like extremely wealthy or successful. Like, my brain can't comprehend that there's so many different levels to being an artist, and very rarely do artists have one medium. I watched an interview today, and this actress sketches in between takes to still allow that creative energy to flow through her. I've heard of many, many actors sketching on planes, and some of them paint, some of them are into photography, and because we're just creative people. Like, that's just how our brain works. We just have to be constantly creating, and here I am, like, convincing myself that I'm only allowed to have one outlet to make things, and I deem myself a quitter if I don't finish a project, and kind of makes me wonder why I've heard that other people stop during the book, like, halfway, just because you just reach a point where it's just really painful, because it's therapy, honestly. And I remember taking a class kind of like this in college where I had to take a camera and record and take pictures of like things that seem so mundane or boring and try to explain why it's, you know, unique. And I remember whenever I was doing the assignment, I'm like, oh, easy, just take a picture of this, take a picture of this, take a picture of art, right? I didn't take the assignment seriously, and then now I'm like, no, like, art is everywhere, and everybody perceives things differently. And so, yeah, just a lot of like heavy emotions right now, honestly.